Hello, and welcome to my channel again. It's been a really long time since I did some content here on front seat racing, but I am back now, and I got another tech video waiting for you here. You can call it a little review, because I will share my thoughts about my Swedish rig design ultimate sim racing rig. And I will take you through a little journey, starting with the packaging and then the unboxing, the build process, the assembly of hardware, and then finally some conclusions at the end. I have used this rig extensively over almost 1.5 years now, so I got a few things to share about it. Again, thanks for watching. Let's go! First, just before finishing this video, in February of 2022, I got the news that SRD had to temporarily closing to regroup due to the pandemic, and that the price of aluminium globally have gone up by 30% under 2021. I guess all we can do is wait and see when or if SRD opens for business again. I rarely do reviews because simply there are other YouTube channels out there doing it much better than I do, but hey, this time I'm going to do it anyway. This review is fairly thorough, as it's a lot to cover, and if you are looking for a particular section, you'll find timestamps to all chapters in the description below. CEO and founder of SRD is Mikael Engström, and he and his wife does everything behind the wheels here. And on their website we can read that they designed and offer affordable sim rigs since 2019 and have them produced in Germany. They then deliver flat pack style to customers directly, mostly from the manufacturer Motherboard. There are different kinds of SRD sim rigs to choose from, more standard GT style rigs, to Formula 1, to sim karting, and lately even motion rig packages. SRD have collaborations with Phantek, Housing Quilt and Sim Racing Coach. They ship within Europe and recently also the US with a limited supply. Alongside the order comes digital, environmentally friendly IKEA-inspired instruction manuals attached to an email. The manuals are very detailed and helpful, have nice instructions and are easy to follow. Back in 2020 I got the SRD Ultimate Sim Rig that have the biggest base structure, and included was a pedal tray and a wheel deck. I added a monitor stand for 3 monitors, a quad monitor add-on for a 4th monitor, and extended R for mounting a shifter, and 4 basic rubber feet. SRD offers 2 kind of racing bucket seats from Behringer. At the time of ordering, the seats were sold out, so I had to get another seat separately. I have heard though that those Behringer seats are very good for its money, and thanks to the rig design and measurement you can mount pretty much any kind of seat you want. The rigs come in a silver grey alu finish, and there is to this date not an option to get the sim rigs in black, which is a bit of a letdown, as many things they do look cool. And perhaps it will be a reality later on when SRD hopefully continue to grow. About the aesthetic, some will love the overall sleek industrial look of the sim rig like this, and some will just find it more functioning than aesthetically pleasing. I like the clean look of it. The profit margins in this business are very slim, and despite that SRD is a micro business, the cost for the sim rigs are very competitive when comparing the pricing to bigger boys as SimLabs, RC, G.SKill, Advanced Sim Racing, Track Racer, or Next Level Racing. I can't really say that sim rigs in general are cheap, but somewhere you get what you pay for. The different parts were divided into 3 bigger cardboard packages and well compressed and wrapped in bubble plastic. There was no labeling, but thanks to the instruction manuals it was quite easy to make them roughly sorted as a first step. All rigs come with alu profiles in different measurements, corner brackets, spring-loaded T-nuts, socket hex screws and plastic caps. Included too are extra T-nuts and screws for attaching a wheelbase or a pedal set, or accessories like a handbrake or a shifter. As SRD does not have full control of the packaging to save cost for the customer, it's as simple and straightforward as it can be, and I really got no major complaints here. The ALU profiles had no sharp edges and were bonded tightly together to eliminate them moving around. Screws were in a cardboard box neatly secured, and there was no need to go to the local hardware store and buying additional screws, and even after the assembly was done I had some parts left that can be used to add more sim racing peripherals in the future. Assembling of the sim rig and accessories can be a bit cumbersome in the beginning, and obviously this is the case for all aluminium profile sim rigs on the market. But the instruction manuals here is again a nice friend, and it all went well. It took around 7 hours to build on and off. The profile used on most of the SRD sim rigs have a little beefier core structure that also sim labs use on their sim rigs. That can both be a negative thing or a positive thing, as it affects the overall weight of the rig but also enhances the strength of it. SRD uses lighter ALU profiles on their motion rigs, and perhaps a mix of both lighter and denser ALU profiles on selected parts can be a solution in future revisions to lower the overall weight. We usually don't move our sim rig, but if we must, weight is a factor. The main principle of all the assembly here is putting a T-nut in the center channel of the profiles, and then added gusset corner brackets with anti-irritation tabs and screw it all together with socket hex screws, mostly M8 threads. The T-nuts are spring ball loaded and of good quality, and placing the T-nuts with the hole faced outwards in the profile is a good idea, as that will conceal the T-nuts behind the corner bracket, which make it look cleaner. After the base frame were done, I continued the build by adding ALU profiles for the seat, middle tower for the wheel deck, pedal tray, add-on for the fourth screen, extra arm for the shifter and the monitor stand. A note here is that the stand, wheel deck and the rubber feet have been updated since the time of filming this build process. The stand got some minor changes in the joints, and the wheel deck got completely a new design, and there is now an option to choose multiple wheel decks more suitable for bigger direct drive wheelbases. The feet are bigger and more adjustable, and I also bought some SRD accessories, a PC tray, a mouse plate and a swiveling keyboard arm, and more of that later. So let's speed this build part up a notch, and I will be back with comments about mounting of hardware and conclusion. So, this is the current state of the rig, and now follows my comments about mounting of hardware and conclusion. I started with mounting the Sparco seat, and this took a little bit of effort to get everything aligned, but after a bit of fiddling everything fitted nicely. Getting in and out of the rig is not a problem, and the Behringer seats from SRD can be equipped with both side brackets and sliders like my Sparco Evo QRT seat, and it is very easy to get a great seat position when it can be adjusted both forwards, backwards, height and tilt. As the rig is based of deep 160mm alloy profile, it helps getting in and out as you are not seated low near the floor. The SRD soft rubber sim rig feet are made of black powder coated 10mm laser cut aluminum plate and are mounted by T-nuts and socket hex screws. The height for the fine tuning and the large footprints of the feet helps getting the whole rig more stable. My Phantek Club Sport Shifter SQ version 1.5 is mounted with two angle brackets directly to the SRD extended arm by T-nuts and socket hex screws. I have the brackets positioned diagonally by using two of the four mounting holes in the bottom of the shifter. You can have both brackets on either sides too. The shifter really feels solid under my hand, and the arm is connected at both ends and have a bottom support bar. My shifter is in tight reach from the wheel deck, and I think the overall position on the arm here is very good. Beneath the shifter I have the SRD big mouse plate made of 3mm black powder coated steel that is mounted with two flat-headed socket hex screws. The size is 320 by 270mm, and I use a SteelSeries AORUS 3 mouse with the SteelSeries M mousepad. I got a nice ergonomic support from my lower arm when using the mouse, and even if I have the sim racing perspective firstly in focus here, I also do FPS gaming and office work in the sim rig, and as an example, this entire review was written in the seat with a breeze. The M size of mouse plate feels almost luxurious big to use on a sim rig. On to the other side, and let's talk about the SRD swiveling keyboard arm. I believe they were first on the sim racing market to have a working solution for this with extended arms, and it can be mounted in two different ways. The tray in a forward or backward position when rotating it, depending how you like it. There is a newer revision on the swiveling keyboard arm on the SRD website, and the difference seems to be the joints, but other than that the design is similar. I use a almost 2 kg or 4.2 pounds heavy SteelSeries Apex Pro board, and there is almost zero flex to talk about here. The only thing that moves are some twists in the alloy profile itself, so the overall design here is really good. The key is that the extended mounts are helping with the stability and even out the weight contribution, so not all forces are on the lonely mounts to the frame. The joints got some vinyl washers taking care of the movements, so the mounts don't unscrew themselves, and the arm can be mounted either on the frame as I have it or on the monitor stand. The 3mm black powder coated steel tray support full length keyboard up to 500mm and have a little edge at the bottom so the keyboard lies in place. It is easy to position the keyboard where you want it in front of you when gaming, doing office work or just surfing the web. When racing, it can just swivel to the side, and you can adjust the sensitivity of the movements by tighten or untighten the three flat-headed socket hex screws at the joints. On the SRD PC tray we can have our PC attached to the sim rig, and it's a must to have a good stability here, as the PC and its component usually is the most expensive hardware in a sim racing arsenal. I'm happy to say that no security straps are needed here. The PC sits rock solid on top of the tray. The alloy plates that the PC sits on can be adjusted to accommodate most PC cases. I have a Phantek P500A case, and I like the fact that the tray is not completely covered underneath by a solid plate, as that makes it easier for the PC's power supply, often located at the bottom of the case, to get a completely open airflow. Something that is not of highest quality are the black plastic caps for the corner brackets that hides the screws. Other sim rig manufacturers are having the same issue, so this is not an isolated thing at SRD. The problem is that they come off way too easy. It's like the clamping tabs inside are too thin, and it's a bit annoying having to reset them after just touching them lightly with my foot when getting out of the rig. SRD needs to switch to other manufacturer if possible. No wonder I see sim rigs without these caps, and a temporary solution is to add some tape to the tabs so they get thicker, which will make them stick better in the corner brackets. The SRD monitor stand supports up to 3 35-inch or a single 49-inch monitor, and I use triple Acer 32-inch 1800R curved monitors, and the height of the monitors can be adjusted as well as the angles. I also use a fourth 24 Acer monitor with the SRD quad monitor add-on. At both legs there are beefy metal plates pierced with a swarm of socket hex screws instead of using the regular smaller corner brackets. And thanks to that design and enough length of the alu profile's bottom part, the monitor stand is very balanced and does not want to tip over in any direction. I would have preferred though that the monitor stand could be a bit longer, as I have it maxed out in height and there is no more room for adjustment. This is especially the case when using bigger 32-inch monitor and rig feet. Let's move on to the SRD wheel deck made of laser cut 10mm black powder coated aluminium with SRD initials and pre-drilled to support the most standard wheel families on the market from Thrustmaster, Logitech and Phantek. They also offer two bigger wheel decks, one for side and one for front mounting larger direct drive wheelbases as Phantek, DD1 and DD2, SimCube, VRS and Mage. According to the SRD website, you should contact Michael when ordering if you got another wheel deck not on the list, and he will help you out. Some other manufacturers have their wheel deck sides and top plate welded together, and I would have liked to see that here too, so we don't have to use corner brackets and screws, but it shouldn't make any difference in stability. My Phantek CSL DD with the 8 Nm boost kit paired with the Phantek Podium NASCAR rim sits solid on the bench, and the wheel deck is adjustable forward, backwards, height and tilt. There are some tiny side-to-side flex when really turning the wheel rapidly in a synthetic test, but that is not noticeable when driving, so it's a good result. You really have to force it to be able to see it, and it looks worse here than it actually is. Furthermore, there are no flex to talk about up and down, which is much worse than side-to-side movement. The SRD pedal tray is probably the most complex piece of the whole rig, as it have the most parts, and it consists of a frame of alu profiles. 2 at the side and the 3 in the middle have angled alu brackets which are movable, so practically every pedal set on the market can be mounted. I use the SimForge Mark I pedals, and these come with a suitable base of alu profile, so it was very easy to mount them. The brake pedal have a stiff load cell at 80 kg and nothing flexes, everything is solid even when pounding hard on the brake. SRD could have chosen a more common metal plate as a pedal tray that is more easy to adjust, but often that kind of a solution is a lot weaker, and I am glad they did not make any compromises here and instead decided to go with a more durable premium solution. Before we get to the final verdict, let's wrap things up here with a list of a summary of pros that are good, neutral with things that can go either way, and cons with minor points of criticism. Conclusion, starting with the pros. Great overall design, easy adjustable, solid construction, highly compatible, many options of wheel decks, great pedal tray, great SRD accessories, great contact and support, great downloadable manuals. Neutral, things that can go either way. Price. Rig only comes in silver grey alu finish, no options for black. Industrial look, heavy, monitor stand could be higher. Cons. Minor point of criticism. Corner bracket plastic caps are almost useless. The design of alu profile sim rigs on the market today are more or less clones of each other, and it seems like there are not many different ways to construct them. But if we look a little closer, there are clear differences in choice of design, parts, materials and details. I think the SRD Ultimate Sim Rig is throughout excellent, with no drama, and with accessories as the PC tray, swiveling keyboard arm, mouse plate and rubber feet makes it even better. Sim racing is a hobby we stick with for a long time, and thanks to the alu profile's limitless options for future modifications and adding new sim racing peripherals to it, it's a safe choice. There is a lot to like here, and my complaints are only minor. So this is a very solid piece of design and engineering, and SRD exceeded my expectations. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and stay tuned for more videos here at Front Seat Racing.